Welcome back to the James and Christy Show. I have something really fantastic for you. I hope you're as excited as I am because right now we have two special guests for us. I mean, really big time gurus that are really making a lot of money doing this, but they were gracious enough to come on our show to teach every one of you guys of how they're doing this. Today, what we're going to do is, okay, get hold of this, a $132,000 case study, okay, where that you do not need an email list. How would you like that? Okay, you have no subscribers. You're basically starting from scratch, and $132,000, and then getting 18 to 24% conversions. Would you like to know how they're doing it? Would you like to know? I mean, one thing what you're going to have to do is get a pad of paper, take a pen. I've already been taking notes, as you can see. I'm just telling you. I hope you're ready because we're going to bring a lot of golden nuggets. This is very exciting. I am so happy, really, to have two of these top-notch gurus here. This is really cool, isn't it, Christy?
Absolutely. We want to welcome Matt Basak and Lee Collins to the James and Christy Show. And we want to say welcome, guys.
Hey, good to be here.
Hey there, Matt and Lee. Welcome to the James and Christy Show. Okay, $132,000 case study. Lee, can you actually go into and tell me how did this get started? And if I was a new person and I was trying to resurrect or trying to do the same thing again, what would I have to do, or what would you expect, or what would you advise me to do?
Well, basically, it started by I did a few tests to some lists that I had just to get my numbers right, and that's one of the things that's very important for folks to always do is know your numbers. If you don't know your numbers, you really don't have a business. So, we really, Matt and I both stress that in our businesses that you have to know your numbers at every level. Once you know your numbers, you can take it to a JV. Now, this is what I did. I didn't have a list that I could mail to do this, and when I say mail, I mean actually mail. I did this through direct mail offline. And so I went to a buddy that I knew who had an offline list. He said, okay, I'd be happy to mail this to about 2,500 of my buyers, and we'll see how it does. I showed him the numbers of what I did from my tests to some, some very small groups, 500 apiece. It's very, very small. And, I said, hey, can you mail this to your list? And so he said yes. And, I didn't really know what to expect. I was scared to death because it's a cold list, didn't know me, didn't know my products, didn't know anything, and took it to Kent. We mailed it out, and one of the things I did that was unique is, I don't recommend newbies necessarily do this unless, you know your numbers, is I guaranteed that he would at least break even on his mailing. So he had nothing to lose. So I said, Kent, you'll spend the money, you'll send it out to your list, and I'll guarantee that you'll at least break even or better. Well, we got much, much better responses than he even anticipated. Not to share one little secret nugget that he never expected from his list as well. So here's what happened. We sent out the mailing to 2,500 of his customers. It was for a $2,000 offer with some back end as well. And essentially what happened is most people get very excited, as you know, about a 1 to 3% response. We got it was between 18 and 24. It's been a little while, so I don't remember exactly what the numbers were, but all my mailings get between an 18 and 24% response, and he got, I think it was a 19 or 20% response, which just blew him away. And from that, like I said, we got $132,000 in total orders. So when we split that check and I cut him that first big check, and I'll be honest with you guys, this is the biggest check that I'd ever written to date. So I was so excited to send Kent that money. I stroked him that check, sending it to him, and he was excited too. And since then I've written a lot of checks, which is really cool. But that day was my first one, and we did really well with that. And here's a little secret nugget that came out of it that we both never expected, is that 72% of his orders came in by fax. So, usually
Wow.
I frame that a little better by saying, here's what happened, because Kent was very resistant about having the fax number on the order form. And he said, my people are very internet savvy, they'll never order by fax. And we went back and forth, round and round on this for a long time. And then I said, Kent, you have to trust me. I know my numbers, I know what's going to happen, and it's going to surprise you. It's going to actually blow you away when it happens. So normally I got about a 60% take on fax, and with his list I got a 72% from what he called a very internet savvy list. So he was blown away, and the first thing he asked me is, he said, Lee, I want to know how this was done. Why did these people order by fax instead of by email or by going to the website, or by mailing their order in. And so we did a survey, and do you guys want to take a guess as to what the reason was that they ordered by fax instead of by the other methods?
Lee, I guessed convenience. That was my guess.
Okay, yeah.
And I guess that they wanted it right away.
They wanted it right away, and both are fantastic answers, and they're really the answers that Kent and I thought as well. Those were the first two things, but what it came down to was they were afraid of identity theft and fraud.
Wow.
So they were really afraid that somebody would intercept the message between point A and point B, and they would get their information and commit identity theft or fraud with their account. So they ordered by fax because they thought it was safer. Because still think about the one of the largest segments of buyers that we have in the marketplace right now, and it's baby boomers, right?
Right.
And those guys are all very familiar with the fax machine. So one of the things that I'm sure everybody's heard is you have to enter the conversation in people's mind. Well, we entered the conversation in their mind, but we also took it a step further, which is entering a conversation in their mind in the way that they want to be spoken to. And these folks are very familiar with the fax machine, so they ordered by fax, which was incredible. And here's another little tidbit that I didn't share before that I'll share now. Let me ask you this question. When you get an offer by email, let's reframe ourselves to the email state of mind. You get an offer by email. Tell me, what are the chances of you placing an order from that email 5 years later?
Very, very small.
Pretty small.
Zero, very small, period, right?
Right.
Well, the beautiful thing about ordering or doing offline is that here's what happens. People get the piece of paper, and they have it in their hands, and just like this, they're out there at their desk, they're doing something, they take it and they set it aside. And guess what? Over time, other things get laid on top of that, right?
Right.
And a year later, 2 years later, they find that again and say, oh man, I meant to order this. And guess what? They do.
Wow.
I was still getting orders from that first mailing up to 5 years later.
No way. Is that
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. And those are $2,000 orders that these folks just said, hey, I'm going to order this, I'm going to set it aside here on my desk, and then they forget about it. And then because it's a physical piece of paper, you get something that you don't get when you're playing just online. Now, a lot of people call me an internet marketer. I never use the term, and I know Matt doesn't either. But we're people who market. We market and promote, and we use every medium necessary to do that: online, offline, and even carrier pigeon, if that's the way people want to be spoken to. So the beautiful thing is you can get orders up to 5 years later if you use physical mailings instead of email.
Lee, that is a fascinating story. I'm so glad you shared, and you shared a lot of golden nuggets, too, that most people will never know unless they watch this or grab your course. And I'm really glad you shared that with us. And we're going to share the microphone with Matt Basak. I met Matt years ago and got started with Matt because he knows his stuff. Matt's made millions of dollars online. Hi, Matt. Can you
Hey, how's it going?
Hey, tell us
Matt.
your story. You have an amazing story, Matt.
Oh yeah, let me tell you a little bit about Matt. I mean, well, let Matt tell about Matt. That's the best way to do it, really, because this.
Right,
You
Let me tell you, I saw Matt at the Warrior Forum, okay, and this was huge. Christy and I were sitting there, and we were just floored by about his life experience. And if anything's going to motivate you, wait till you hear this man speak. Take it away, Matt.
All right. So, so I got started. Well, Lee and I both got started. Just to be clear, Lee and I both got started in 1999. We went off and made millions a couple of years later. However, through life, everybody runs into some little things, so some issues. But just kind of share with you guys. When I was doing really, really well at the beginning. Beginning of it. I built it up to about, right out of college. I made my first $1 million right out of college, and I built it up to, actually 15 thriving companies. And we were making millions of dollars a year, living in a big house. I had my own private airplane, happy family, everything, from there. But I really believe that nothing can be taken away from me. Actually, my wife and I just had this conversation outside. This is hilarious. So in December 2008, after, we're sitting there. I remember that year. It was like right for Christmas. We were outside on the porch. We're pinching ourselves. Like my wife and I are like, because if you combine all our companies, the companies did over $20 million that year. We're just like, wow, how the hell did we do this? My wife remembered, we remember when she remembers when I was sleeping on a cot, when she met me, dreaming of all the stuff today. But two men in black suits came to my house, stood in front of me, and they said the 5 words that would terrify even the strongest person. They were the Internal Revenue Service. And they came into my house. They sat me down, and they just basically interrogated me forever. But they weren't just in the regular thing; they were with the Criminal Investigation Division. So they questioned me about my businesses, my finances, my associates, and my family. And finally, I asked them, like, "Hey, why do you want to know all this stuff?" And they said, "We can't tell you that." And I was like, "Okay, seriously, what did I do wrong?" They came back again. They're like, "Well, we can't tell you that." I'm like, "Are you serious? Like, what did I do wrong? Like, just tell me. But if you could just tell me what I did, I will do whatever it takes to fix it." And they just, but I got to know what I did, and they just looked at me like, "Well, we can't tell you that." I'm like, "Are you serious?" Like, I was floored, So after I realized this, I better shut up. And I realized I should shut up. I went and got an attorney. And, before I said something more wrong, and then I asked them to leave, and they said, "Fine, that's fine, but you should know that, our investigation could result, and you ended up in prison for 5 years." Also, what they also said, which was crazy because it's right for Christmas, he said, "Oh, and by the way, have a Merry Christmas." Thank you, little bastards. But anyway, so I hired a big top attorney and got one of the, top auditors in the country to come through my books, and neither find anything wrong or any clue what brought the IRS down on me. And several months later, my life became really a living hell. Concentrating on anything was almost impossible, and my wife was close to a nervous breakdown. My wife and I were so scared. I'll tell you this: we were so scared. And I don't really tell this. Actually, I don't think I ever told this publicly. My wife and I were so scared that we used to go into, because we didn't know, because they were monitoring our mail for 6 months before, and we found that out later when they were asking me questions about stuff that came in my mail. And my wife and I are in the shower. We would turn on the shower, stayed in the shower. We were so scared, thinking maybe our house was bugged, because we didn't know what was going on. And that's how we would communicate and talk, in the shower with the water on, because we figured that, nothing was in there. But my kids didn't know anything that was going on, they didn't know why things changed at home. Every day, I wondered if that was the day I was going to be carted off prison. I was literally reading books about life in prison. I didn't even know why the heck I was going. And then one morning in April, a letter arrived, and it had an IRS logo on it. And you got to understand, to this point, actually every day I was getting letters from the IRS. There was a couple lawsuits that were in the middle of it too, because it was crazy. But I got a letter, and the letter pretty much read, like, no longer subject of criminal investigation by our office. And they said that, but this does not pre-include reentry. So I was like, oh crap! So I showed it to my attorney. He said, in all my years of practice, he's only seen 2 of those letters, and he called it the golden ticket. And so what ended up happening is, he said, you can get out. He told me I can get out from underneath the ordeal. However, he said, this is not a get out jail free card. And he said, they come after you again if they want, with no warning, no explanation. But this time I got to ask you a question. Are you willing to do whatever it takes to make sure this never happens again? So I went to his office. I sat down. He asked me that question. I said, I'll do whatever. Just don't take my family or my land. And he came back. I really said, I'll do anything. And he said, okay, then. You're going to have to lose everything you've got. You're going to have to basically bankrupt all your businesses, cut all your business ties. You're never allowed to, and you cannot create, he said, you can go out and start another business, but you cannot create a continuation of what you're doing for at least 2 years. So you cannot do anything that you're doing. And that's kind of why I kind of rose back in to it, because I actually woke up after 3 or 4 years and realized, oh my gosh, 2 years is up. Now let's go and let's go out here, and that's why I'm teaching again. But and basically said I had to stop doing everything. I couldn't be associated with anything they're investigating. Basically, I had to start all over from nothing. And that's not what I wanted to hear. I was pissed off, honestly. I was depressed, but I had no choice. And I said, I'll do it underneath one condition. I won't leave any of my merchants, any of my employees holding the bag. Basically, I said, nobody's getting screwed except for me, no matter what. So I dipped in my own pockets. I paid everyone that I owed them. I bankrupted all 15 companies, said goodbye to my wealth and basically my career and my livelihood, and I was finally free and broke. And the great thing about that thing is the fact that within 6 months, I was back to making millions. Literally, in like when I say I had to start over from nothing, like I couldn't even use the hosting company I used. Anybody I paid a bill to before then, I couldn't use. So I had to go and research. And when I say start all over, I really did. That whole entire story that I just told you guys is true. I just want to say in 2008, the IRS did come after me. Although to this day, I just want to say this: we never found anything to miss in any of my businesses. and we still don't even know what they were investigating. But it was the only reason I bring that up, and I kind of want to share that is because I did lose everything, and I started all over where many people are. But the cool thing is, which we were talking about earlier, is once you have the knowledge, like we're going to share inside this program, it's like once you've got it, it's still there. Like sometimes we put things in a little compartment in the back of our mind, but you can pull it out. And the cool thing is, it's been like this experience of doing this with Lee for both of us. It's kind of cool because it's like we're sitting there like all night, or it's like, oh my gosh, we just did like a bonus interview last night, and like to me, like that kept me up all night. Like I was like, oh my god, I can't believe what we shared. That was so brilliant. It's like, I mean, for anybody, I mean, that has a burning desire to take care of their family and have a good life. I mean, and have maybe give their kids a good whatever it is. But I mean, I'm so excited about this product, just kind of share it, because it's like all the great stuff from back then and all the even better stuff from today.
Yeah, it's funny. I actually had the same experience, Matt. I didn't sleep well at all last night. I mean, I'm looking here, I see the bags under my eyes because I was so excited about the call, and it just triggered so many other memories. So it was an amazing call, and like you said, the folks who get this, they're just going to be blown away because both of us have been, and we lived through the experience, and we know this stuff, and our minds have just been spinning since then.
That's awesome, Matt. I know how powerful this is, and I mean, because folks, I already have the whole enchilada. I'm telling you, I got everything here. I mean, A to Z on this, because I'm going to tell you, this man has lost everything. Everything. And like Matt and I were talking about before we went on air, was that once you have this in your head, it's easier because you already you're not reinventing a cake. Not saying, should I put sugar in there, should I put a little frosting in there, or whatever. He already knows the information. That's why he was able to climb back so quick like that and actually get it all back together, really. And Matt, so once they jump in this, because I'm already getting everything. I already got everything. I'm just telling everybody. 2 thumbs up to what are they going to get once they jump on this? Because I know this is so inexpensive that everybody has to get this.
Well, the great thing is, I mean, so there's 2 parts to it. We've got the secret sauce, which is, secret sauce. I'm grilling Lee because I really want to extract out of his mind how, like, I wanted to know, really, reveal his tips and his tricks and his little node techniques, basically generating tens of millions of dollars online and off. And the best part is like I said, we captured it on video, and that's what people are going to be able to get. But really, it's cool because the one thing that I know, Lee and I, we discovered we both have like this fascination of war, studying war. So he wrote this. He said, but basically this will allow people to outflank their competition with invisible marketing, and that's what it's really about. And so the cool thing is, just to share this, and this will be surprising and shocking to you guys. The fact of the matter is, the information that we share just on the initial product, not including the bonus, which the bonus I think is brilliant. Actually, it's stuff I shared with my $12,500 students. But Frank Karen thought that Lee's methods were so innovative, so leading edge and so important that he personally purchased hundreds of copies of Lee's CDs and trainings, to his mass control students. So like that's what people are getting. Like imagine, I mean, and that's what it is. So the cool thing is that's what we're gonna, that's what we're gonna be talking about and we're sharing is stuff from there, so that the people can just really skyrocket, and from there. And the whole idea of it, and I think Lee and I came together for a reason to put this together because we've both been around since like you said, since 1999. And we realized that people can choose to really stop wasting their time or falling for useless information from people that just got started their businesses like last few years, and let 2 guys that have been doing it forever and that have made millions upon millions of dollars show them how it's done.
Right, and 2 guys who've had and lost everything too. I mean, I share a similar story.
Same experience.
Yeah. I started my business in 1999, so I've been going for just over 15 years, same as Matt. In 2001, I had my first big success. Actually, the way it came about was almost by accident because My wife at the time, she came to me with a stack of papers, and she had a stack of papers, and she walked to my office and she said, "What are these?" And I recognized immediately what it was, and what she had found was the credit card statements from all the credit cards I'd opened to buy stuff to learn how to do this. It was about $30,000 worth of debt. So I know some of the listeners to this program, they've done the same thing. Secretly go get a card so you can buy things, so you can learn, so you can, one day just explode a beautiful life in your family, financial freedom, etc. And I was trying to do that from home. And she beat me to the mailbox that day, and she came up with that stack, and she said, "What is this?" And I said, "Well, that's our internet business." And her words were, "Doesn't look like it's doing too good." And so she told me basically that I had to make money or quit. Period. I had to give it up forever. And so at that point, I was determined to make it work. I said, "Well, I'm this close. I'm this close to making it work." And of course, she didn't believe me. I mean, if you have a significant other in your life, how many times have you gone to them and said, "I'm this close to making it work"? And how many times do they believe you, right? Never. But I really felt that I was, and I convinced her, all I need is $500. And this $500 was going to be seed money for what I knew was going to be the big breakthrough in our business. And she said quite simply, "We don't have it. We're barely buying groceries right now, and we have $30,000 in debt that I didn't know about. So we don't have $500." And I said, "Yes, we do. We have the money we saved for the kids' Christmas." And just like you guys, you could have heard a pin drop. The shock in her face was just there. And it took me about 3 days of begging. I was a little more persistent than she was, but I finally got her to give in and give me the $500. She didn't know that I had everything all set up. I mean, the systems, the processes, the things we talk about this program, everything was all ready to go. So I basically pushed a button, turned it on. It was the weekend. We had family visiting from out of town. And we were sitting around just, listening to music, having a good time, talking. And the game we played that hour was how much more money is going to get put into the PayPal account. Because that day alone, we made $5,000. That was my first $20,000 month, which was fantastic. So that was great. So I paid off all the bills. We had the best Christmas ever because, one of the things we share as well is that when most people think is a horrible time for marketing, it's really the best time for marketing.
Yeah.
And that's what I found. That's what Matt's found. And, I like to market when other people don't. I like to zig when other people zag. And that's the whole, I know Think Differently was coined by Apple and by Steve Jobs at some point, but before they were thinking differently, I was. So, it's the whole thing throughout my entire life has been, Lee, you just think different than other people. And, I think that's why I've achieved some of the things I have. Now, I did lose it all as well. And I lost it all due to divorce, which happens sometimes. And it's taken me about 4 years to get back on my feet and get my mojo back and to feel good about what I'm doing. The good news is, like you said earlier, James, you never lose it. It's all in your head. It's all in your mind. And as soon as you're ready to pick it back up again, you can. And, that's what I've done. I found that over the past 4 years, I was really good at running other people's companies for them. I was really good at making their stuff work. But as far as making my stuff work, I could just never, ever get that juice. And, it's a shame because all my stuff was just sitting there, just waiting and waiting. I felt like it was sort of a rebirth. I just started sharing this with people. I'm not ashamed of it at all. 6 months ago, and I know you're not going to believe this when I tell you, 6 months ago I had a massive heart attack. 100% blockage of my main artery, and almost died. And I consider March 7th to be my date of rebirth because everything's just kind of been on fire since then. And I don't think anybody's going to extinguish my flames. And I just want to keep things going. I'm very proud of what we put together, Matt and I. I mean, the things we've shared in there, mindset, nuggets, make money. There's so many different things that we've shared in there that's just going to blow people away.
Well, one thing I'd like to say, which most people don't know too about Lee specifically, even though he wasn't for a piece of time he wasn't doing his own thing. I mean, heck, he was the former managing director and the marketing director for Stompernet, which was really huge. I mean, handling all their operations in marketing and Stompernet, which was one of the world's largest SEO and online marketing companies. So
right.
He systematized things, put all the processes in place, and really made it a more effective company. Basically take the 14 down to 5 instead of 20 people. I mean, and created products and everything else. So, and he actually one thing most people don't know about that, and if anybody knows anything with the Sharpening history, I mean, he had the 2 biggest back-to-back months. Netted the biggest things the company's seen. So, like we're talking about, it's cool. So he has another experience that he got to be able to help empower the things that we're talking about, even make it 1,000 times better.
Lee and Matt, I would ask you, because a lot of our audience are baby boomers like me, or single moms or single dads, who are just really scratching it out. They'll do anything, just like where you were, Lee, that last $500. What would you say to them about getting this course?
I think it's something I said earlier. I think the number one best thing. So the bonus alone that we did last night, that Lee and I just kept us both up all night. I will tell you, listen, first of all, you're gonna get, you get the main product, you get the bonus. And actually, if we do the switcheroo, I just want to be clear, because we might actually have that be the, after it's all said and done, we might actually have that be the main product because it was so awesome. They're both so awesome, but it's I just want to be clear. So, but it's called 7 Golden Keys. Listen to the 7 Golden Keys. Inject that into your mind as fast as you can. I'll have and actually Lee knows this. I have my kids listen. My daughter, you ask her what the strangest secret in the world is, she'll tell you. She'll say, "Oh, it's different. What you think about, you become." Or I ask my son, and he'll say it a different way, but they all mean the same thing. He'll say, you can achieve what you believe you can achieve. But the reason I bring that up is because inject that in your mind. I've been injecting things like that in my children's mind. I listen to Lead the Field. We listen to I'm in the car with my kids. The reason I'm saying that is for people, inject that 7 Golden Keys inside your mind, because we don't just talk about the 7 Golden Keys which we advertise. We actually talk about the 3 missing keys. We also talk about the 2 most common characteristics of internet multimillionaires. So bring that on, because actually last night I texted Lee too, or maybe it was this morning or last night, I can't remember because it's all a blur. But without that much sleep, it's a blur. But I texted him, and Lee, you probably remember this. I said, iron sharpens iron. And that's one great thing is, the people that are listening to this, and you've got the desire, you're iron, and we can be the iron sharpening you, and making you better. So I would say, if you're just starting off, go get that, listen to that. The other piece of it, yeah, you can listen to it, but I would tell you to, put it in a special place on your hard drive, and save it there for when you're ready to really start implementing and doing that. So, what, I will tell you, I still listen to cassettes, because the cool thing is, what we talked about is timeless. So it doesn't matter. It's not like one of those, the big thing, and Lee and I were talking about this, there's a lot of guys that go off and create these strategies or talk about strategies that are going to be here today and gone tomorrow. These are timeless strategies that people can, when you're ready for them, you can pull them out of your hard drive, start listening to it, and start implementing immediately.
Yeah, and I have to add, what Lee and Matt are sharing with us, this is the honest truth, that I got started because of Matt Basak. That is how I got started. So many people say, how did you get started? I went to a conference. I sat beside Matt, and he flew there in his private airplane several years ago. And because Matt believed in me and gave me hope when I was divorced and I was struggling, I remember what Matt said, timeless truth. If you're looking for hope, this is it. This is it. Click on the link below. Right, James?
Yeah, you know what, folks, understand this. When I was at the Warrior Forum and I heard Matt speak and, his partner Lee, I'm telling you, it just inspired me, because my father told me the same thing pretty much a long time ago, that they can take everything away from you, but they can't take what's up there. Once you know the system, you can get right back there. The first $1 million is the hardest to make. The second one is very easy to make. I'm telling you, it is that easy. And Matt just got it right back, so did Lee. I'm telling you, these are the keys to success. What I recommend you doing is grabbing this too, because this is really inexpensive. Trust me. If you want a 6-figure business, which is, I'm going to tell you, everybody can do this, okay? I'm going to tell you, until I found out I did this, I didn't believe it. So I'm telling you, everyone here can do this. What your next action step would be is to grab this, because I'm telling you, it is so inexpensive, really. If you went to buy a Subway, okay, and I owned a Subway before, it cost you probably over $100,000 to start it off. I mean, right, Matt? I mean, this is like the easiest way to actually take your life into another level.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you 1,000% on that one. That's for sure. Yeah, I mean, I know I've bought and sold companies before, and actually, at least sold that one, his first initial company, which is kind of cool. But yeah, absolutely. And I think that everybody, I'll tell you guys, you're in for look, there's no fluff, no BS. We're not going to tell you some pie in the sky ideas. These are real, tried and true. We've been through the trenches, and we're going to tell you what we learned from the trenches. But you said, like the keys. I mean, these are the golden keys, guys. I mean, like we're going to give you the golden keys. That's why we call it the golden keys. And you guys are going to walk away with some absolutely amazing nuggets.
Yeah, exactly. And just in closing, everybody, this is really okay. I've done well in this business, and and thank God that really that I have really. But I'm going to tell you why I've done well in this business, and I've done really quickly, fast, well with this business, was because one of the things was that, one of the biggest reasons for failure out there is not taking action. I'm telling you straight off. That's one of the reasons that Christy and I have done well with this is because we take massive action. I mean, when we see something great like this, I grab it. I don't care. I just grab it because let me tell you, Matt's not going to have this. Is a very, very short time that this is going to be available. Only a few days. That's it. It's gone forever. Don't say, oh, I should have, could have, would have. Well, you have the chance right now. You know what? What you need to do is grab this right now. My good friend Brad Goss always says, don't be a baby. Just do it. Just jump on it now. Click the link on the bottom. Just grab it. This is like peanuts compared to what you can make in your life. All right. Later on, everybody.
Yeah,
Bye now. Bye, guys.
Thank you, guys.